One of the things I've told my husband I want on my headstone someday is you always have a choice. So when it feels like you're stuck and there's nothing else to be done, there is always a choice. There is always some other way. And maybe holding on has good reason right now. That's still a choice. But there are other choices that exist. And so take some space, explore the choice and different options in front of you, even if they're bad ones. What if you did implode all of it? Start it over. Let's imagine that world. What does that look like? What would that feel like? Because at least then you're exploring and it gets you out of that headspace of feeling.
Welcome to Season 3 of Beyond the Business Plan, the podcast for burned out professionals and entrepreneurs who know there's more to life than just hitting the next revenue goal. I'm S.A.I.L.I.N.G, founder and chief joy officer of joyminder.com. I'm a private money broker and creator of the S.A.I.L.I.N.G system, S.A.I.L.I.N.G system for designing a business and life you actually love. Each week this season, I'll be talking with guests and sharing stories about what happens after the business plan works. Money, real estate, legacy, faith, and whole person success. If you're ready to join the sales setters and chart your own course beyond burnout, hit that follow or subscribe so you catch every episode. If you feel like you're carrying the weight of your team, your clients, and your family on your shoulders, and you know the way you're working is not sustainable, you're not alone. Today's guest is a seasoned operator and the co-founder and CEO of the S.A.I.L.I.N.G company, where she helps leaders not only survive the chaos of growth, but build organizations that scale and truly last. Yay! Whether you're navigating storms in your current role or dreaming of going beyond into something of your own, you're going to hear real world wisdom you can put to work right away. Who is this transformation artist who helps those feeling called to grow and go beyond their current business plan? Let's find out. Katie Sandquist, are you there?
Hello, Leanne. Thanks for having me.
Katie, it's so great to see you again. Hey, Katie, my listeners are often high achieving but exhausted professionals who feel like they're holding everything together with a little glue, maybe a
Yep.
little sheer willpower, and they really worry that if they slow down, everything will fall apart. You've lived through building and selling companies while keeping your own humanity and your family at the center. So I know your perspective is going to be such a gift. Before we dive into systems and scaling, can you take us back to the human side of your story? What life looked like before the stable company and where you first felt that this is just not going to keep working?
Yeah. So back in the day, I worked for an electronic health records company, and every day looked crazy different. We would have our owner come in, and one day it was this customer just called. They need us. Call them back right now. Fix their problem. The next day, we had a cool new business idea. Everybody stop what you're doing. Let's go work on this. It's going to make us millions. The next day, it was something else. You get the idea. And so while I was raising my toddler, I had two coworkers that were really in the trenches with me every day, experiencing this. And we got together and just said, we can't keep going at this pace. It's just unsustainable for our families, for our work-life balance, and being able to keep up with the demands of all of the clients and the software company that we were running. It just wasn't sustainable for us anymore.
Wow. So I'm just curious. I'm going to deviate a little bit here, but if you could address that person, that business owner, because I think there's some of us who are entrepreneurs who saw themselves a little bit in what you just said. Do you have just a couple words of advice for that person so they don't lose quality people like you and your coworkers?
Yeah, great question. There's good in that. I want to be clear. there's excitement and energy that's brought when somebody can come in and say, "Oh, I have this cool new idea," or "Hey, this customer really needs attention." Those are all important and good things in their right place. And so I would just encourage them to find that person that can be trusted to help them take those ideas and what feels like the urgent and the immediate to really weigh it against the priorities of the entire organization. And especially as you grow and you hit different organizational psychology sizes, the group as a whole needs to be able to stay aligned and prioritize the work that you need them to do to be able to accomplish the first really great idea that you had. And so being able to still express your ideas, your vision, and things that are important and dear to your heart and the customers that help to get you started is really a good thing. You just want to find the people in your circle that can help filter that and then process it out to the rest of your team to really make sure that that gets done in the right way.
I'm just loving this so much. When I first met you, I heard elements of what you were saying that tied very much to how I've run my business or how I've known to run my business. And yet, when you're a smaller business, sometimes you're wearing all the hats. And so the I don't know what you call it, but when somebody is that like visionary type person, what I heard you saying is it's very helpful to have an intermediary.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
title do you give to that person?
Kind of the other side of the coin, if you will. So some people talk about a second in command. The EOS framework would call it an integrator.
Yep.
But you think about Walt Disney. He had his brother Roy, and if you read different books on them, there were checks that would bounce had Roy not been there to actually make sure that the bills got paid. So really making sure that you have that other side of your coin or that good partnership that complements you very well. And I was really fortunate to have an owner who also had a co-owner. There were 50-50 partners, which you don't always see work very well, but they were very complementary of each other and the way that they worked, the way that they thought, and they had spent many years trying to figure out how can we best utilize each other. um, the idea of filtering all of the ideas as the organization grew became a bigger job, I would say, if that
But
makes sense.
absolutely. Actually, what comes to mind is my husband and I owned a company together, and we were the two sides. I was we kind of divided it this way. I was the outside of the building, the marketing, the meeting people, the all that. And he was the inside of the building, paying the bills, making sure that we had the products made, managing employees. And it
Yeah.
worked just so well. The other thing that popped into my mind is a little like parenting. It's great when you have parents that aren't just like each other. I mean,
Mhm.
which parent to go to, but also they balance each other if they can balance each other potentially.
Yeah, that's a really great point.
So, well, once you realized that the pace that you were living through wasn't sustainable, what came next? What was your particular season or moment in growing those three companies where you thought, I don't know if I can keep going like this? And how did you navigate through that storm?
Yeah, so we actually had two companies at the time. We had the electronic health record and a billing services company. And like I mentioned, my two coworkers were in the trenches with me. We were saying this can't work anymore. And so we were reading The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni. Really great book. Helps to really think about what's your rally cry, some of your standard objectives, and some defining objectives, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. Forgive me if I get that wrong. And that really helped us frame up, what type of company do we want to be and how should we think about these objectives. But then one day, my one coworker found Traction by Gino Wickman
Mhm.
and really found that EOS framework. And so we read the book, and it was practically how could we run the day to day of our business to ensure that we could follow through on the vision of our visionary.
Right. Yeah, Patrick Lenciani, I love his works. They're very easy to read, but
Right.
yeah, like you, when I found EOS, the book is Traction, just light bulbs went off left and right. Also, the book Rocket Fuel, which really talks about the dynamics of those two positions at the top, the integrator and visionary. Love
Yeah,
that.
actually, rocket fuel had come out after we had found traction. And I
Ah,
remember reading that. And when I had read about the integrator, it's like something called to me. I was like, that is what I was made to do. Yes.
bless you, because not me. I'm definitely the visionary. And that's so, yes, I'm calling myself out, my poor team.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got
Well,
this great idea. We're gonna launch a YouTube channel.
and they're
Hurry
like,
up,
wait,
let's
what?
go. What's that?
And they're like, wait, what?
Since
Yeah.
when?
Yeah.
I mean, it all makes sense in my brain.
Hmm.
Like, even my husband's like, wait, why are you adding this in? I'm like, because it's perfectly aligned. He's like, how?
Yeah. It's all going together. Yeah.
So, well, so the stable company feels like such a direct response to chaos.
Yeah.
Can you know, I mean, just the name of your business, the stable company. So, can you share a concrete example of a time when putting the right operational rhythms and culture in place not only helped a company grow, but also protected human beings from burning out in the process?
Yeah. So I think I'm going to back up just a second and give
Yeah.
you kind of another layer of that story. So we had put in an operating system, and the owner and visionary finally felt freed up to start a third business. And at a certain point, I came and I said, this is your company. I respect that. It's not working for me. I'm spending my day firefighting still. So even in the midst of an operating system, he'd come in and have a conversation with this person and a conversation with that person. And they would take it and say, well, he's the owner, he's the visionary. I'm just going to run and do it. And so I said, I respect you. You can do that. That's not where I work at my best. Where I work at my best is being able to filter that idea, put it in its right place, and communicate it effectively to get the teams aligned, doing the right work at the right time as a team, not as individuals running in different directions to do different things. And I was ready to lose my job. Thankfully, I did not. And he said, let's try that. Let's have you filter those things. And so I was very grateful. He ended up coming back and saying, how do I still dream with people? So I said, okay, let's bookend this. Go to somebody, say, just streaming out loud. Let's talk this through. And then at the end, say, love all this, run it past Katie. And I'm really grateful for that, because what that allowed was for us to kind of transform and realign. So by the time we had sold two of the businesses, and I came back home, is what I like to say, to the third business, I had to spend some time helping the new owner get all of that settled. We had a consultant come in. We were sitting in a workshop, and we took a break, and he goes, can I ask you, how do you do it? I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I have done these sessions for hundreds of companies, and I've never seen a president sit there and not look at their phone. And you have not touched your phone one time since we've been in this session. I said, oh, that's a really great question. I'd never thought of that. Honestly, it's because I believe if you get people to understand their role on the team, think about an NFL team, every position when you go to the offensive lineup has a job to be done. And if they understand the assignment, they are clear on the measure of their success, and they're clear on the things they should escalate and when to pull the help button, you should be able to let them run. I shouldn't have to be firefighting all of the time. And it's from that premise, right? If people are aligned as a team, they understand their role, they understand what the success is, they understand when to pull the help chain, you should allow them the freedom to run. And there's more to that, right? We talk about the apprenticeship model of how you can build trust to ensure that they understand the role, they know what to do there. But you shouldn't have to be in the everyday. They should be freed up to do what they do best, and hiring people that have better gifts and skills in that role than I ever would or could. That's what I want to have. And so I shouldn't be firefighting all the time. And really that's where the stable company came out of it. We believe calm is a competitive advantage. That if you're running in chaos, that means people aren't well aligned. They don't necessarily understand the assignment, the play that needs to get run. And for a football analogy, your chances of getting down the field and making a touchdown are drastically reduced. Is that,
Well,
does that connect?
absolutely. And we're just gonna go here. Um, Go Pack, go.
Thank you. Yes. Go Paco.
Many people know I live in Minnesota, but I am married to the grandson of a Packer player from the 1930s.
Wow.
Yes, so we're
Go
coming up on like he played 100 years ago, and pretty cool, kind of fun. So
Really cool.
that
So do
was
you have tickets? I have to know.
well, we do not because we're on the
Okay.
list because everybody's on
Okay.
the list.
Everybody's on the list. Yes.
But we do. My daughter, my sister-in-law love going. They go at least a couple times a year. It's or at least once a year, I'd say.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I love it. I love that they love it so much. My husband was like, "Hey, I'm not going to tell you you have to be a fan, but if we decide to have children someday," I'm like, you know what? I'm not having a divided household, and I don't care that much. It's a game, and so
Well, quick tangent. I had a vendor that had the brand new US Bank Stadium Vikings like turf suite tickets and invited me, but I had to wear Viking purple. And I walked in the door after game. Incredible. If you ever have the chance to go to
yeah,
a turf suite for the Vikings game, do it.
yeah.
Amazing. I walk in the house and my son at the time was like 10. He's like, get out. You're in Vikings colors. Get out. You were a traitor.
Did you at
Wow, I
least
didn't
wear
realize we raised you that strongly to be a Packer fan, but okay.
did you at least wear a Favre Viking jersey?
No, no. They had like a special shirt that they
Oh,
had
okay.
their vendor name and everything. But yeah, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay. Anyway, the point being, I like football. I like football a lot. I love football analogies. And we're going to take a quick break. We've got some really great questions coming up. So, audience, hang in there. We'll be right back. Hey, sales setters, are you ready to launch or refresh your business? Join us at the very next Beyond the Business Plan Summit for breakthrough strategies and inspiration. Visit joyminder.com/summit or check the link in the show notes for our incredible list of speakers and topics. And let's go beyond business plans together. And we are back. So, Katie, a lot of people that are listening are still in demanding corporate jobs or person first roles. They might be in real estate, healthcare, service tech. They kind of feel like they're stuck in a storm that they can't step out of. They may be entrepreneurs like real estate agents. They are truly entrepreneurs. They have to find the client, they have to service the client, they do all the work of an entrepreneur. They may work with a broker, and that's good. That's a really good thing. But they're, very much an entrepreneur. They have to do a lot of the work. For someone who's not ready to quit their job, their job just over broke. Oops, did I say that out loud? But knows that they can't keep going the way that they are. What are a few small stabilizing steps that they can take to start protecting their energy and building something more sustainable, even if they're not ready to leave?
So I'll answer the first part of that. Protecting their energy is really important in finding the things that work for them. One of the things that I've appreciated is understanding your energy flow. So I've talked with people that have demanding corporate jobs and their transition time is the car. What is it during that drive home that you can do that protects your energy or fills your bucket, if you will? So perhaps it's listening to your favorite music, listening to nostalgic music that sparks back a memory from when you were young and having fun and free. That can really change the psychology of your day and your energy. For some people, it's an early morning routine and having that moment to really kickstart your day and have that energy. But it's also knowing where your energy state lives. So for me, I'm actually a night owl. The morning is not my best time. My brain doesn't engage. I'm one of those really random people that after 9 p.m., my brain kicks on again. And that's where I'm going to suddenly have another surge of energy. So I always encourage entrepreneurs or people who are dreaming of something different, understand when your best energy happens and take advantage of that time, protect that time to do something to refill your bucket and then express that energy in that space where you have the abundance of it and the extra. As far as getting ahead in your business, we're living in a really great age and time where AI is your friend. It can really help you think about your business and be that filter for you. I'm having all these crazy ideas. You can use AI like Whisperflow is a cool app, and it can just take a bunch of notes and transcribe them for you as you're thinking out loud. So as you're in your drive in your car, maybe that is where your energy is. Use Whisperflow to be transcribing your thoughts as you're driving. And then it keeps them into a file. You can then feed that into things like Claude and say, hey, act as if you were my integrator. How would you take these business ideas and what would you do first? What could be my powerful best next step? And then making sure that you're networking with like peers. Entrepreneurs are great, amazing group of people who are about solving problems, who are for making a difference in the world. And so the more you can rally yourself around with people that can fill your energy, further spur your idea and creativity, it's just going to help you to be able to better found that business and have a network of people who are your next first call once you're ready to launch.
Beautiful.
Those would be some of the things I would mention at least.
Wonderful. Actually, it's funny because I changed from being a night owl to an early bird. And
Oh,
it was
okay.
an intentional switch because my husband was getting up so early. He had to be work so early for the type of job that he has that he was getting up early and I was staying up late and we weren't seeing each other. So, valuing the relationship, he needed to go to sleep at 8. And I'm like, that's so early. But I
So
was able to move and transition it so that I love the mornings now. I love the early sunlight. I love the quiet of the mornings. It is it is possible to switch it. It's not necessary for everyone to switch it. I'm not saying one is better or the other. It's just possible.
yeah.
But
Well,
I love that.
I had like started my like career and going up the ladder when people were saying like the 5 a.m. club.
Yeah.
Those that are really successful are up at 5 a.m. And I thought, oh no, I'm never going to be successful. So I just want
Oh,
to teach people that everyone is built a little differently and whatever you can find that works for you. But Leanne, there's different seasons to life, right? So
for
I know
sure. Yeah.
children, if they're morning people, you're up in the morning. When
Yep.
your children leave the house or they're teenagers and they want to sleep till noon, you have different options.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it is a season that we're in because often he's at work at 6:30 in the morning. So we enjoy an hour or two in the morning together, and that's when we can read scripture. We can do the things that we want to do for our touch points, listen to good music or the different things that you mentioned, which I really appreciate. And to your other point, I'm really excited that you're going to be visiting a group that I lead once a month, and it's for national leaders, national entrepreneurs, where we do get to touch points with each other and be able to share ideas and move forward and help each other. It's yes, networking sort of, but not really. It's more of a mastermind. And that's what I love about it is that opportunity to say, hey, let's talk about this topic this month. And everybody shares their perspectives on it. And because we're all in diverse businesses, we have different perspectives on it. Even with AI, you mentioned Claude. I like Perplexity. It's all good. So moving
And it,
forward, you're helping a lot of leaders build organizations at scale. We mentioned AI just now without burning out their peoples. What are a couple of principles or questions any leader can ask themselves to kind of check in for themselves or maybe with their team members on are we growing this business in a way that is healthy for our humans?
the first thing I like to ask leaders is, where are you spending your time? Is it on the urgent or is it on the important? Often they are running and doing different things, but it's not necessarily the most important things to get them to their goals. And there's also the question of asking, are your people doing what they're great at? So, another point is as teams grow, especially in entrepreneurial businesses, you wear a lot of hats. You look for utilitarian players, people who can be able to do a multitude of different tasks because you don't have the budget necessarily at the beginning to hire each specialist. But as you grow, as the business continues to grow, what you want to watch for is people accidentally falling into ruts or jobs that aren't necessarily in their best gifting. So invest in your team. Go out, do assessments that help you better learn and understand each other. Assess the tasks that you are doing and say, what do you love and you're great at? What do you like and you're good at it? You don't like it, but you are good at it. And you don't like it and you're not good at it. Okay. That's where you start. What's something that each of you could shift or take? Be like, well, I may not love it, but I am good at it and I do like it. So I could take that from you. You don't like it and you're not good at it. I find that people forget to look around as a team and go through seasons of change and say, hey, I could take that from you if you could take this from me. And now we're both working from a place of talent and we're all getting to contribute every day in a more meaningful, motivating, energizing way.
So love that so much. And yes, I've actually been doing that as I've grown, from having one virtual assistant to multiple now. I routinely go through that. I'm like, what do you love about what you're doing right now? And what would you, if all things were possible, what would you no longer do? And we're not able to just have a specialist for everything. So everybody understands they sometimes have to pull the weight, even if they don't like it. And then it's kind of on me to make sure that is it really still being done as good as possible given the circumstances? Is that fair?
Yeah. And I think different seasons, even in your family. So I've taken that home. And in different seasons of our family structure, it was different when there were two of us working and no children. Then in the young early years, we had to tag team. My career was taking off, my husband's was stagnating. He was doing laundry, he was doing all of our cooking and everything. And then we went through a phase where we were freed up and blessed that we could bring someone in to do the cleaning and he still did the cooking. And then as our children grew, like we had new opportunities. And now we're in a stage where I've learned to cook. I'm learning, I'm embracing it. And he's at a different stage in his career, getting freed up to do that. So you have to find what works for you as in that team mentality. How can you best use each other's gifts to maximize the season that you're in?
Really, really, definitely appreciate that. Lately, I've had a shift where I'm going to a lot more real estate investor meetings. That's where we met. And that means I'm not home in the evenings as much. But he's also doing different things. So I agree. It's just that communication piece is so important. And if you're truly utilizing it, it strengthens your marriage much better than, assuming.
Yes. Or falling into habits and you just you don't recognize that you've just been doing it because you've always done it. Well, maybe
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know that you believe that the right people locked into the right vision can change their corner of the world. So,
yeah.
how have your own storms shaped the kind of impact you want to have now, both with your clients and in your own corner of the world?
I truly want to be able to see people be freed up to do meaningful work every day. Because when they understand what they're good at, and it's what they're truly, I believe, innately gifted with talents and skills to bring to the world, and they get to see that put to work every day, they're motivated to wake up. Then you put teams of people that understand their gifts and complementing each other towards a certain vision. They're motivated, they're freed up, and they can have that momentum. There's study after study, right? Project Aristotle from Google. There's all the science behind teams outperforming individual stars because we're built to work and complement one another. And so when people are able to do that, then they get to run. And that's why I'm really excited to be partnered in the way I am right now with my four other partners. We all have vastly different gifts. It makes it really exciting, interesting team meetings some days. But when we all get together and we're able to then help our clients, help the different businesses see how they can apply that framework to their business, we get the benefit of seeing everyone freed up and excited for their work. And then you have people not sad. And I believe they bring that home. I believe they learn these assessments, and I've seen it in my other companies where they learn communication styles from each other at work and they go home and they tell their spouse, please go take this test. And I've had somebody say, this changed my marriage. We didn't even realize we were talking in this way, and now I better understand them. And so you can see how that then spreads to their children, spreads to their communities. So we ultimately believe when people find their gifting, their meaning, find a team and go after something, it shapes the world and the community that they're in.
Oh, such perfect language. I fully believe that we were given a purpose. Like there is a purpose in us. And one of the questions I really love to ask my guests, so I'm going to ask you now, and it ties into this. What do you remember enjoying doing when you were a kid? I'll give you a couple examples. I loved photography. I loved being able to find unique perspectives on things. I also played math teacher. That was my thing, to play math teacher. And I still love photography. I still love that creativity. And I became a math teacher. How about you?
I loved to orchestrate all of my different stuffed animals around my big old boombox and put in a cassette tape. That was one of those things that played music. You would actually be able to rewind it, and the music would play through the actual physical tape. And I would make it like all of my stuffed animals were singing. And I loved my pets. And so I would play with them and care for them. We had bunnies and we had cats and just run around the neighborhood. I was the only girl with a bunch of boys. And so I would try to organize them all and help all of their crazy ideas turn into something. I remember we made this wall of 2x4s that one of the dads had, and they were going to make a ramp and jump into it. And I was like, I feel like this isn't a great idea. I feel like maybe we should send something through first besides a person. They didn't listen to me on that one. It ended in an injury, but I loved being able to coordinate and orchestrate different activities, whether it be with the boys or the stuffed animals.
And you still do.
And I still do. And I'm on a team of all men at the moment, but yes.
Oh, fun. Excellent.
That's just what I
Well,
do.
as we wrap up here, I want you to imagine somebody listening on their commute to or home, to work, or maybe home from a stressful day, thinking, I'm in the middle of my own storm, and I want to believe there's a way to grow beyond this, but I can't see it yet. From everything you've lived and built, what would you want to say to that person right now?
Hold on. It is hard when you're in the middle of the storm. It's hard to keep hope sometimes, but it does exist. And it's not always going to be like this. And it doesn't have to be. One of the things I've told my husband I want on my headstone someday is you always have a choice. So when it feels like you're stuck and there's nothing else to be done, there is always a choice. There is always some other way. And maybe holding on has good reason right now. That's still a choice. But there are other choices that exist. And so take some space, explore the choice and different options in front of you, even if they're bad ones. Sometimes I will go down a path. I'll be like, let's explore that. Let's sit back. Let's talk about that. What if you did implode all of it? Start it over. Let's imagine that world. What does that look like? What would that feel like? Because at least then you're exploring and it gets you out of that headspace of feeling stuck. That's where you can stagnate. That's where things can get really challenging. So holding on and imagining a hope, knowing you have a choice.
Beautiful. And I'm so excited to tell our audience that this is not the last time they will hear from you because our Beyond the Business Plan Summit is coming up shortly, and you are going to be one of our speakers. Very excited about this.
Excited to be there.
So
Yep,
if
I'm actually going to get to talk about raising your influence from a question. So, as a leader, one of the things I'm really passionate about is being curious. So, when we talk about your team and what are they doing, what do they love, it starts with curiosity. And so, we're going to talk about exploring what can be your curious question that really helps raise your influence as a leader.
And for those of you also feeling like stuck or like you are not meant to be where you are at, you want to do something else. Maybe you've always felt a longing to be an entrepreneur, to have your own stable company. Or just a reminder to visit joyminder.com and get your sailing system. Download it. It's a free workbook you can work through. Find out what stage you're at. Are you just thinking about it, or are you a little closer to launching than you think? And then, of course, what we love is that Katie is so brilliant at the navigating the storms and the grow and go beyond portion of the sailing systems. So, listeners, if you've been listening today and thinking, that's me, I'm right in the middle of a storm and I don't know how much longer I can hold this all together, I hope Katie's honesty and her hard won tools that she shared so generously today have given you a glimpse of what it looks like not just to survive, but to actually thrive, to grow, and go beyond in this season. You can really build a work and a business that honor your humanity, protect your energy, and still create meaningful impact. All of Katie's information and how to connect with her and the stable company will be right here below in the show notes. So you can keep learning from her work after this conversation. And of course, go get your ticket to the summit. It's free. Just go to joyminder.com/summit and you can get your free ticket right now. So if this episode has encouraged you, share it with just one person who needs to hear that they are not alone in the storm. And be sure to follow or subscribe so you catch every episode designed to help you grow and go beyond your current business situation. Until then, keep spreading the joy, keep leading with heart, and I'll catch you on the next wave of success. Thank you so much, Katie.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Have a great day.
Thanks for sailing with me on Beyond the Business Plan, the podcast. If this episode helped you as a sales setter, the best next step is to follow the show and share it with one friend who's ready to move beyond burnout into a more aligned way of doing business and life. If you want to go deeper, join me live at the next Beyond the Business Plan Summit online happening May 17th through 19th. You'll hear from experts on profit, real estate, legacy, and whole person planning, all through the lens of the S.A.I.L.I.N.G system, which you can download at joyminder.com. You can save your spot and get more details and download the S.A.I.L.I.N.G system at joyminder.com. Until next time, keep setting your course and adjusting your sails beyond the business plan.